Okie dokie. I'm huddling by the fire with a hot water bottle because it's fucking freezing. But I have been channeling, downloading, receiving, like, again, however anyone wants to depict it, doesn't really matter, but lots of information has been coming through for so long. Like the whole of December has been so pungent for information and insights, which is glorious. And at the time of them coming through, like, we obviously all still get that kind of, oh, is there, you know, some self-doubt, or is this just relative to me, or blah 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 blah. And then the more people I've been working with and talking to and doing things with, it's all been relevant, which obviously I love, because who doesn't love being right? Obvs. But I think main patterns and information coming through at the moment is, I've been saying this one almost daily, which means it's pretty important, I would like to say. The action doesn't necessarily change, but the vibration and where it's coming from does. So you can still do the same thing, but you're having a choice about it. It's coming from your actual part in it, consciously, awarely choosing the action, as opposed to it being driven from an unconscious hidden belief or habit. And I can even liken this even to boundaries. So for instance, there might be something you think, I should have a better boundary with that, for instance, but that can go directly against your nature as well, or sometimes it's just not part of the choice. I.e., I have a family member who I love dearly, I really do, but we have a lot more separation now. We don't speak as much, unfortunately, and that's just the way it is. My love for them doesn't change in any way. Now, realistically, in line with boundaries and everything else, it would probably be said, like, to completely cut ties and don't bother with them anymore. However, that's not what I want. And I'm aware that I can't make the situation different, and I'm aware that I can't change them in any way, nor would I try anymore. But my choice is to have somewhat of a relationship with them in any way that it can be. And that means having a lot of distance, having very brief, snippety conversations once in a blue moon, and only popping in once in a blue moon. But that's now my choice. I'm not feeling held to something. I'm not feeling guilted into it. I'm not feeling like I still have to adhere to all of the things that I used to, which is why the relationship and the dynamic has broken down in the first place. Not really because they changed that much, but sorry, the phone's getting really hot because I'm sat right next to the fire. But the thing is, I need the heat and the phone doesn't. So we're going to swivel. Pivot. Right. I'm going to have to pivot the other way soon so that the other side gets hot. What was I saying? Yeah, so they didn't really change that much, but I did, which in itself was beautiful, because I grew, I changed, I expanded, I learnt, and all of a sudden the dynamic we were in didn't really fit me anymore, didn't suit me anymore, wasn't particularly nice or beneficial anymore. It wasn't particularly beneficial previously, but I was stuck in some sort of loop of like guilt, and I must serve and I must do all these things, and wasn't really aware why I was doing it. So for me, it was actually really beautiful, even though it was not nice and it feels like another loss and it's another breakdown within the family and blah, 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 blah. I got out of a loop, and it's just conscious awareness. It's just understanding and seeing the pattern. And then it took time to obviously like implement boundaries and implement different concepts and things like that, because it's a process. It's not, what is it, Rome built in a day and all those shenanigans. But it then became my choice. And I think that's what we can really depict awareness as. Awareness is the gap. Awareness is the gap so that you can choose, so that all of a sudden you can look at the thing, situation, person, environment, whatever the thing is, the pattern, And you can now make a choice with it of what you want to do, how much you want to be involved with it. And even if you're consciously aware, and I could still be going to this person's house every day and doing all the things, but if it's because I'm now doing that out of an absolute choice, like, fine, I'm just happy to do this because, you know, that's for the time you've got left, this is what it is. Like, fine, I chose not to, but I chose that I also don't want to cut them off either. And so it means that this is the way the relationship is, and that's also fine because it's my choice. And so I think conscious awareness is the gap that allows you to have choice, and choice is your power. You're empowered by realizing that you are in control and not out of control. And that doesn't mean that you can control everything. It means that you are in control of yourself and the way that you can react, perceive, and behave in accordance to. So you are responding and not reacting. So the action, like I say, may not change, but where it comes from does. So it's now had awareness brought to the situation. So you might be, I don't know, I think I said it before, like exercising every day, but if you're doing it because if you've got this deep-seated belief that you won't ever be loved if you're, I don't know, whatever, out of shape, unfit, whatever, then it's not really the same thing as you being consciously aware of what you're doing with your body, and because you want to exercise, because you want to be at your best, because you want to be physically fit, because you want to whatever. For me, it helps with pain management. So as long as I'm working out or doing some sort of like strength training, my body doesn't hurt as much. So it comes from a place of conscious awareness, but sometimes it's been the ticked box as well, where I'm like, gotta do this, and I'm like, why does my body still hurt today? And it's like, probably because you're really stressed out because you think you have to do everything like as a to-do list. And I'm like, oh yeah, what about like I'm choosing to do all of this stuff? So I think that's really what presence comes down to, like being present is that we're choosing to be in that moment and not anywhere else. It's like, yeah, you can think of the whole pressure and the to-do list of everything else that you have got to do. But the way I've been seeing it is we've got a lot of time on earth. Well, we've got all the time until we die, right? Which we don't know when that is. So it could be a lot of time, a little bit of time. But no matter what, time's a fucker. And you got to fill it. And so if we weren't doing anything at all, if we did nothing with our day, we'd feel unfulfilled, lack of purpose, depressed, shit, and that's it. So then people want purpose and definition. And then when we get loads of things to do because we've created lives and now we have purpose and definition and responsibility, but responsibility is our power. It's our power to be responsible and do things. But we turn it into a pressure because that's what we're like, little crazy heads. We get overwhelmed. And then we don't want to do anything, and then we procrastinate. It's just like, it's such a topsy-turvy. We always want the opposite of what's happening right now, which is the definition of suffering, right? Like, we're going to keep suffering if we keep trying to get out of the thing that's happening right now. So I guess that's what the acceptance is, and how everything loops back together. You have to surrender to the moment, accept what is, and then make your choice based on that, of how you're going to be in it, respond to it, and all the other things, so that you're not just reacting to life, but you're responding to the moment. And what I've noticed is I have so many patterns where I couldn't be in the moment at all. Like, escapism was my thing, because it was always like, shit, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I kind of picked that up from the UK, where you had to work ridiculous hours, and then the commutes are ridiculous on top of that. And then I was studying, and then I got a dog that had high energy and needed like lots of time. Look at this tired eye, it's like almost closed. I haven't even smoked. And so, yeah, I ended up, every time I was doing something, I was at work, I'm thinking, shit, I've got so much cooking, cleaning, washing, dog walking, studying. I've got, an essay to write up, blah, blah, blah. And so every moment I was in meant I was not doing something else that I was meant to be doing, which meant everything was always a pressure. And so I'd carried that pattern with me. And even now, when I have really glorious days, like, it could be like going and networking and meeting new people whilst having a walk along the coast and eating cake, and I'm making that like I've got so much to do today, well, that means that I'm not at home doing the cleaning or doing the pool, or I'm not doing any videos, or I'm not doing, nope, You're not. But right now you're doing this. And that's kind of what started to come through. So I was able to meet the moment of myself of panicking and just seeing that that was perfectly fine in itself, and I understand where it's come from. And also just, BTW, you're already here, you're already doing this, which means you can't do any of them other things anyway. So are you going to take yourself away from the experience that you're currently having, which means you don't get this moment either? Or are you just going to be here and then figure the rest out later? And that's been super helpful this week, I guess, and I just thought I would share.